connection on it. And then you use a traditional microphone, the 3-prong, connection. And so that's what I'm using, is the 3-prong microphone. There's two different kinds. There's the dynamic one and the condenser one. The dynamic is better, but because you'll know it's better because it costs more. And the condenser one is that you can get for about $100. But the $100 plus the sound, together.
Is there another huge step up in quality if you go to a real mic with the soundboard as opposed to?
Yes. So I just got the Shure microphone and I compared it to my condenser microphone. So the $100 versus the $500. And the $100 one, the $100 one, I didn't realize it didn't sound that good until I plugged in the $500 one. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds like me, where it sounds like me in my head. Instead of sound, because all those microphones sound a little bit different than what you, but this one sounds like me. So for $500 you can do that. So, we had so many good, here we go. Why don't you just pass that around? Take what you want, guys, take what you want. I got candy, I got all kinds of toys in there. I got a hockey puck. Yeah, trade show hockey pucks. All right. Any other questions on that? Okay. When you record, you should change your display properties to 1360 by 768. Yeah, it's amazing. Every time I would try to submit something in any other resolution, and this was using multiple different computers, different video cards, different monitors, it didn't matter. That resolution was the one that was universally accepted by LinkedIn, Pluralsight, and all the other ones. They all want that. They also want you to record at 15 frames per second. So you can go as high as 60 frames per second, but apparently when you display that back over the web, it doesn't come out with the same quality, it uses more resources, they just don't like it. So 15 frames per second, I'll show you how to set that as well. Now this 1360 by 768, everybody knows how to change their display settings, so I won't bother showing you that. But the 15 frames per second, that's actually set in Camtasia. You may need to get a larger monitor. If you use a laptop, it'll probably be too small. You might want to spend $150 or so on a 22-inch monitor or larger. And that's because when you do set your resolution to 1360 by 768, it cuts off a lot of stuff. So you need to have a bigger monitor to still see like your OK button, your apply button, that kind of stuff. Use caption and callouts. This is instead, as I was talking about earlier, this is instead of using the mouse moving around. Use caption and callouts to lead the viewer to look at what it is that you're talking about. Any questions on those three?
I'm going to demonstrate how to do that.
Yep. All right, should we write a script? What do you guys do? A lot of you guys, half the room has been doing this. Do you write a script or do you just kind of wing it? Sometimes. What's that?
I will prepare for it, but not read from it.
Okay, and that's the right way to do it. So you don't want to write word for word what it is that you're going to say. You don't want to not write anything down either, because that's going to sound not so great either. So the best way to do this, again, this is according to the experts, and I've actually found this to be true of myself, is you need to write down categories of what you're going to say, maybe a couple of notes. Because if you read from a script, it's going to sound like a monotone person that nobody wants to listen to. So it's much better to just, the best comedians actually, you probably have seen them. They have these notes and they leave them on a piece of tape, on the piece of paper on the table. And what they do is they tell their jokes and they come over and they look at that and they go, oh yeah, and then this. That's the best way to do it. It's just to remind you what it is that you wanted to say. Voiceovers. All right, so some people have a hard time walking and chewing gum at the same time, right? So if you have a hard time demonstrating and talking about it, and it is a skill, that it's not something you're generally born with, it's something that you learn to do over time. You can start out by doing voiceovers. So you can do your demonstration, and then you save it, and then you come back with your microphone and you voice over it. And that way you don't have to do both things at the same time. That could solve a lot of problems for some of these complex demonstrations. It does get easier over time. As I mentioned, my first course, it took 60 hours. That was to record 4 hours of video. Your time gets cut in half by the time you get to your second or third course, and it will get a lot easier. All right, so recording for BCC classes. Here are my recommendations. So when I started in 2011, Frank Roberts basically said, hey, we should, for our online students, we should really have a lecture for them because they're missing out in the on-campus experience. And so he had a 1 hour recording, and I actually watched the recordings. They were very good, but the students weren't watching. And it was because they were too long. And they wanted to learn something specific, and they couldn't find it. It's very similar to YouTube videos. I don't know if any of you guys have looked to solve a specific problem, and you end up getting an hour-long overview video instead, and you're trying to find it. So don't make hour-long lectures. Make 15-minute lectures. I know that's going to be tough for some of us to do that. What I do is, normally in my on-campus, I have 60 slides on some of these presentations because they're provided by the publisher. So what I do is I cut them down to about 25 or 30 of the most important ones. And then I don't interject any stories, any examples. I just pretty much go through the slides, as basically as quickly and as efficiently as I can. So what do you do when you can't have a long lecture? Well, what you do is you embed the videos into your labs. And so I'll show you what my course looks like that I'm teaching this term, and show you, what it is that I did. So every main section, in ours we typically have 10 different deliverables for most of our labs. So what I did was, in the probably 6 to 7 of these areas are a bit on the complex side. So I will create a video that's about 5 minutes long that will show the technology involved, not necessarily give away the answers, but show the technology involved in how to do the lab. Questions on that?
If I can comment on, I do a very similar thing with my lecture notes, which are outline form. And so at the main heading, I'll have a 3-minute video that demonstrates it, because I don't always have time for the equipment to demonstrate it in the classroom.
Right.
That way, if they're unsure about something, they can just click that little video.
There you go. That's exactly right. So don't always show step by step. And then what you'll find is, unless you communicate that with your students that you're not showing step by step, they get kind of annoyed. So I've actually had comments written in emails or written in the lab itself saying, hey, I watched the video and it didn't tell me step by step. Well, it's not supposed to. I'm not giving you away all the answers, right? Some of the more complex things I do give additional steps to help them along, but some of the ones with just general concepts, you definitely don't want to give them, give away everything. Otherwise, they can just screenshot your video and turn that in, right? Fortunately, they haven't figured that out yet. All right, YouTube, how can I make money? So, I've got some specifics on that. Here we go. So if you decide that this is something you want to do for some side income, and since we're all underpaid teachers, right? Getting side income is not a bad thing. You do need to start out by posting your videos and getting 4,000 hours in a year and 1,000 subscribers in a year. As soon as you hit that in that 12 months, you'll get a magic email from Google that will say, hey, you are now welcomed into the partner affiliate program. Would you like to do that? You say yes, and then you can go in and turn monetization on your videos. And then people can watch them, yes.
What are those numbers again? 4,000?
4,000 hours per year.
Of people watching.
They no longer go by hits. There was a time when they said you had to have like 10,000 hits a year or something like that, but they no longer do that. They now go by how many minutes of, how many hours of watching per year. So 4,000 hours. My last year numbers were 153,000 hours. So I definitely hit the 4,000.
You mean 4,000 hours of video footage?
No, of people watching
People
them.
watching it for 4,000 hours.
Yeah.
Could be like
How do
4,000
you,
people
how do you
watching.
get people?
YouTube does all that for you. They do all that for you.
You know, as opposed to someone just clicking a video and 10 seconds later they go out of it. Yeah.
Right.
Actual watching time.
Right.
Before the-
So for instance, most of my videos are fairly short, so they're under 5 minutes. So if you take all of my videos and all the amount of time that people watch them, the average person watches one of my videos for 1 minute and 28 seconds, something like that. Now for some videos, that's the full amount, and other videos, that's less than the full amount, because they might have saw something shiny and then, so yes.
Well, there are other conditions that apply to that. For example, copyright. None of your videos actually should have copyrighted materials. If they do, then you're not qualified for partnership.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, if you have any music that's copywritten, don't do that. There's a whole bunch of open source, music, and with Camtasia comes a whole bunch of open source music as well. I don't like to put music in the background of my videos. I think it's distracting, but some people like to do that. So if you do decide to use that, or don't use any pictures that are copywritten or anything else, that's in your video. That's a good point. So I signed up with this additional service called TubeBuddy. And what TubeBuddy does is, one of the things it does is, it goes out and finds if anybody's copied your videos and made them look as if they're their own videos on their own channel, so they can make that money. And I had no idea, but I had something like 140 other channels had stolen my videos and put them onto theirs, and they were making the money that was supposed to go to me. So I ended up using TubeBuddy to actually, fortunately I was able to, really simple form. You just click, 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 and they're all gone. They took them all. And all those people got copyright strikes against them. If you get 3 copyright strikes against you, at least last I heard, then they take your channel off the air. So, yeah.
So you said 4,000 viewing hours, what was the other number you mentioned?
1,000 subscribers in a year.
1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I typically get 600 to 700 a month, something like that, subscribers. You'll see most of the channels that have the amount of hits that mine do have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 subscribers. And that's because in order to get to that number, they will pay a service to come and subscribe to. So there's places in other countries that what they'll do is they'll have lined up a whole bunch of smartphones. You pay them, X amount of dollars per month, and then what they'll do is they'll sign up a whole bunch of people and add subscribers. So that's how come sometimes you see people with really low views, but just astronomical amounts of subscribers. And they do that for Instagram and some of the other ones too. So there's a lot of these people with 2 million followers, 5 million, they don't really have those. Yeah, probably 25% of them actually don't. I don't pay for mine, so my 20,000 subscribers are truly 20,000 people interested in seeing what I do. So how do you make a channel? I'm going to show you a little bit about how to do that, and also on how to upload a video as well. So how much money can you make per video? So my videos make I think it's 4/100th of a cent per view. It takes a lot, before, but at 20,000 a day, it does add up, obviously. So you guys can do the math without me actually telling you what it comes out to. There's more money to be made in the LinkedIn Learning and those kinds of things, to be sure. But this is how you get to be known. So if you are interested in having this, be a side business, then you might even find that you end up, if you're really lucky and successful, you might find that you make even more than what your teaching job makes, as well. But that's, like I said, it's a 1 in 1,000, type of a thing. It's not something that happens to everybody. So I know that YouTube, or there's this other company called Social Blade, and Social Blade will track the top 9 million channels. They estimate there's 50 million channels out there, or 50 million plus. And but they track the top 9 million channels that are out there. Last I checked, mine was about 118,000 out of 9 million. So like I said, it's not an easy thing to get up to 25 million views. But if you're lucky enough to do it, usually it's because 5 or 10 of your videos really struck a chord with people that nobody else did. You did it really well, and you know, and that's sort of what happened to me. I had one video that did really well, hit 150,000 hits, something like that, and then you know things started going crazy. Now, unfortunately, they took that feature away. It was how to install Adobe Flash onto an Android, and I was the first person to put a video on it. Went nuts, and then Android took that away. You can no longer put Flash on it, and so all the hits went. So I had to come up with something else. Any other questions before I give a little demonstration on how it works? You guys good? Okay. What's that?
You said that you make 4/100ths of a cent per what, per minute?
No, per view.
Ew.
Yeah.
Per view.
Per view, yeah.
So when you file your taxes, are you your own corporate entity or?
You can do this as a sole proprietor. Well, I'm sorry, you can do it under your own name using your social security. Or you can create a sole proprietor business. I did that. I created a sole proprietor business. It was very simple. You used to have to like publish something in the newspaper. They took all that. They don't do that. But now it's just a simple form with the federal and with the state. And then you do a Schedule C at the end of the year for your taxes. So it's not a corporation. It's much simpler. I also took one extra step, and that is because most of my videos are helping people do high-end server type things, I took an additional step and got an insurance policy. And that was to keep me from getting sued in case anybody made changes to their servers saying that I told them to do it, and then they sued me because something got messed up. So that policy cost me about $1,000 a year. But it's all based on hits and things like that. So it may not be that much for everybody, but
Did you ever get sued?
No. And in my consulting business, I never got sued either, and I paid them probably $10,000 a year. So fortunately, but if I did end up getting sued, of course, your insurance company, your insurance costs go way up. All right, so here's my channel. My sister is a graphic artist, so she did this for me. So the name of the company is Tech Publishing. I get to call myself professor because I teach at Clackamas, and they actually do refer to the instructors there as professors instead of instructors. So I get to officially call myself a professor, because I do teach a few there every year. And you can see that there are, you've got home, which is your latest, for me it's a video that I picked to show, which is how to set up a remote desktop server. Then there's playlists under that. So a playlist is a grouping of videos where that all have a certain theme. So I think you guys will all pretty much, probably fall into that kind of a category. So you see Word and servers and things like that. Then they click on this and they see all the videos all together. So as I said, I did a thing for Microsoft. It was on Microsoft Visio 2019. So I put the videos up from that presentation. And so you'll see some of those there. Typically, the video hits are all over the place. You can see that some only get a couple of dozen hits, some get in the hundreds. You never know what's gonna.
This is all free to view, or it says subscribe up there, and you have to.
Yeah, anybody can see it. They don't have to subscribe. That's just an encouragement for people to subscribe. Yeah. Now, if you get, I forget what it is, but if you hit a certain limit, I think it's 100,000 subscribers, then you can have a paid channel. So in order for people to even watch your videos, they'll have to pay for it. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, but that is something that's an option. There's another website out there that, I can't remember the name of it, but that they do the same thing. So people would pay in order to watch the videos as well. So here's some of the different playlists. And then there's the about, so just to tell you about who I am, all that kind of stuff. So that's what the channel looks like. Now, if you want to create a new channel, there's a video called "Create a New Channel" from Google, and you can just Google, just type in a Google search, how do I create a channel? You'll get this video, and it shows you how to sign up. So it does not cost anything. All you have to do is have an email address. That's it. And you sign up, and you end up with a blank looking channel, just a template. So you can go in and upload your pictures and customize your channel any way you want. Like I said, my sister, being a graphic artist, made mine look really nice, but if you can use some of the templates that they have as well, which make it good.
One note there, you can't use your PCC email address to create a channel because they have it locked down, but you can create a Gmail account and use that for your channel.
Oh, yeah, and I'll bet everybody here probably has a Gmail account. If not, you can create one within a few minutes. When I got my Gmail, it was back when you had to be invited. You couldn't just sign up. Yeah, somebody had to recommend you to get a Gmail account. That's what it used to be like.
Well, this was a thing too.
You must be really old.
Yeah, I am kind of old. Not retirement old, Scott. Although when I went to the retirement dinner, I probably had 20 people ask, "Are you retiring?"
Yes, sir.
Great.
I'm trying to tell you something.
This is my presentation video. Let's see here. There we go. Links into YouTube. Oh, and I told it to not have commercials, but this is one of the weird things about this is sometimes you end up with the commercials anyway. So I took the monetization off on this, but Google decided to use their own. Isn't that nice?
So you said you could remove the commercials, you mean edit the video?
No, so when you become a partner, then you have the ability to monetize or demonetize a video. So I told all the ones that are, for PCC, I said, don't put commercials on. So, but that doesn't mean that YouTube can't put their own on anyway. Yeah. All right, so what I'm doing here is I have a really big 65-inch TV that I stand up in front, and I use the Camtasia with I have an SLR, a DSLR camera standing in front of me. I have a wireless mic set up. I don't expect you guys to do this much, but I just want to let you know how it is that I do it. So I use Camtasia to record, and then so I have me in the bottom corner so they can kind of see what it is that I'm doing, but I don't focus on myself during the actual recording. I focus on the slide presentation itself. These are slides that came from the publisher, so you can see that they break every rule. They have way too many things on here. The type is too small, all those types of things. But because this is the approved information, this is what it is.
So since you used the publisher